Hi, thanks for joining my channel. My name is Shelby and today I want to share with you the books that I read this September, and I do want to throw out a caveat, okay? I'm a girl who loves fantasy romance or just fantasy in general. It's going to be very rare that I ever talk about a book that's like nonfiction or, you know, autobiography or something like that. I just can't get down with it. I live a real life, you know, and I can go outside and talk to somebody if I want that stuff, okay? I really enjoy like escaping into like a whole nother world, child. I ain't got time to be reading no real life shit, okay? Unless it's real life shit and that main character happens to be like a mythical creature. Then I'm like here for it. So just so you know what you're about to get yourself into, this ain't about to be about any kind of like, I don't know, just non-fiction books, I guess. Maybe one day I'll go there, maybe one day I'll branch out. But for now, not me, sorry. All right, so the first book that I want to share with y'all is one that kind of surprised me and honestly I felt like was a thick book. I was like, am I gonna finish this? Do I want to finish this? I was all over the place, but honestly it kind of, you know, intrigued me because although it was a romance book, it really didn't dive into that really. It was really more focused on the political intrigue and the backstabbing. You know, think of like a reality show if they were nuns set in the 15th century and somebody was like a ruler and they wanted your crown, basically. All right, so the book that I'm referring to is Grave Mercy, and this book is by Robin Lefevers. I hope I said that right, child. But anyway, this book right here, it was extremely good. So it basically follows this girl named Isme, and it starts with us going into her life and realizing in the town that she lives in, nobody likes her, child. They're all rude to her, and you're trying to figure out, okay, why is everybody rude to her and treating her like trash? Like, what is really going on? Like what did she do to them? Nothing. She literally was born with this mark on her back. I'm not gonna give it away. But basically she was born with a mark on her back that signified something dark and scary to them. And so her dad was trying to marry her off because hell, her dad didn't even like her. And I was like, what is really going on here? Like, let's unpack, because I'm not understanding. Her mom passed away, so the mom was in her life. The dad was a douche, and then the dad married her off to another douche for money. I was like, listen, if this book is going somewhere, it need to go somewhere now. And I will say this book was very fast paced, and this won't be giving anything away. It's not like the root of the story, but she was basically sold off into marriage to this other douchebag. And then that led her, a chain of events led her to be at the nunnery, or I was about to say coven. Well, if the shoe fits, am I right? No, she was just at this, dang it, what is it, child? Convent. The word is convent. So she went to this convent where they took her in, and it was giving very much so sus. If you read this book, I really want to know your thoughts because it was giving sus. I was like, honey, why are you acting like they are your savior? They are not your savior. I just thought about Kendrick Lamar. Anyway, they really weren't her savior. I knew something was sus, and they were sending her out on missions, and they basically, their whole MO was like, hey girl, we saved you from this horrible marriage. We'll let you live here for free. We'll feed you for free in the name of our God. I'm not gonna spill that tea, but you gotta kill people. And then the crazy thing, again, this isn't giving anything away, but they basically took poison and gave it to her without her knowing. Luckily, the girl didn't die, but she was like, but for real, like, if I died, what would y'all have done? Like, what's going on? And that was the first red flag. Y'all, it was just so much going on in this book. I was like, I'm here for it. Because not somebody trying to poison you, but luckily, thank God, you survived. Like, what? It was real crazy, y'all. But basically, there's the leader of the convent, and she basically is getting all of these missions for them under like the name of their God, basically. And that was the first time I was like, something's off. Because what God got y'all out here just murdering people? but I found it was really cool because you murdered them based on a mark that was on them. And she does find someone that becomes a love interest, but is really not the root of the story. It's really not. And I find that to be slow burn. So if you're not into the slow burn vibes, I wouldn't pick this one up. But it really was slow burn, the relationship. It was enemies to lovers, you know, chef's kiss. And I really like that aspect of it, because sometimes you don't want them to just jump in, oh, love at first sight, oh my god, we're gonna be together forever, me, and it's like, what is going on, child? You know, like, is it just me? But anyway, so she basically just goes on a string of events and a lot of adventures, and I really don't want to tell the whole story. I feel like I'm gonna just give away everything, but basically she goes on all of these adventures where she's supposed to be killing all these people, and then she starts to realize, like, hold up, am I really meant to just be murdering people? Because it's not giving. It's not giving what I thought it was supposed to give. I'm starting to ask questions, and this guy over here is starting to ask questions, and she's playing two parts. I think she's probably a Gemini, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, it's a really good book, but again, it's set in the 15th century, so keep that in mind. They don't talk weird or anything, but you know, there's certain things that are lacking. Which reminds me, if anyone has read that book Scarred, which was set in like the same time period, and they brought up Clorox in the book, but it was in the 15th century when Clorox wasn't even invented yet. Child, it's not like that. Like, it fits and it gives what it's supposed to give, and it's a 5. I believe I rated this book a 4 or a 4.5 star on Goodreads. It was a wild ride. Like, it was really good. I was so stressed, y'all, at the ending, because her girls at the little convent she was at, she made some friends. They were on missions in the same areas, and one girl popped up out of nowhere trying to help her out, and this was the crazy one, air quotes, so crazy. And she tried to help her out, y'all. I had to buy the second book so fast, only to realize, and this is something I need to point out, only to realize that it does not follow the same character. It follows each nun of this best friend group in this series. So each book is about a different nun at this convent, and the second one follows the crazy one, which pops up to try to help her out and be like, yo girl, like, stay away from blah 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 or whatever. So yeah, this was a really good book. I recommend it. Again, I gave it a 4/4.5 star. And I thought it was really good, y'all. I read this book in like 2 days, and it's like over, like, it's over 500 pages, which she's thick. All right, so the next books that I read in September are a duology. It was a reread, and these are one of my favorite fantasy romance books that I've ever had the pleasure of reading. They are so fucking good. Like, I try to share these books with everybody because I feel like it's so different. Like, it's not like every other book. Nah, it's just different. So let me just dive into it. Basically, this is a duology, and it follows a man, a woman. In this one, I guess. What am I trying to say? Let me just show y'all what it is, child. Okay, so this duology is Radiance. Okay, Radiance by Grace Draven. Is that right? Yep, Grace Draven. She's become one of my favorite fantasy romance authors. Like, y'all, when I tell you this duology hits so fucking hard. So I literally love forced, I hate to say it, but like the forced marriage trope. So basically they're getting married because in the order that they come in their royal families, they're so low down the totem pole that they have no choice but to just do what the queen and king tells them. So like, the girl is, okay, Ildiko, she's like human or whatever, but she's like the cousin, her child, she basically like a fourth cousin or something. Let's just go with that. I am wrong, but we're just gonna go with that for the purpose of this video, okay? And Brishan, he is like the 10th brother down the line or whatever, and they're not human. They're like a subset human, question mark. They live long or whatever. So like he knows I'm never gonna sit on the throne. I don't matter. I'm just supposed to be here to marry someone for the benefit of our protection, or to not have to go to war, or because they have like some kind of product that we need and we're willing to barter with my life, as in me marrying somebody I don't want to. And I love this one because they started off as friends, and I find that to be so fucking beautiful, because every book I feel like it's always instant attraction, even if they're enemies. Even if it's an enemies to lovers trope, it's always, you can't tell me I'm wrong, honey, it's always, oh, he's fine but I don't like him. Oh, she cute but she ain't that good. You know what I mean? But this one, they literally thought each other was ugly. Like physically, they find each other ugly. And they met by chance in the garden, and it was right before their forced marriage. They were about to meet each other later on, but they were like, child, let me step outside because I need to catch a breath, okay? I need a breather, because they don't want to be forced into a marriage, and I wouldn't either. But anyway, so they meet by chance, and they realize, they notice each other's differences. And for him, his people are known as warriors. They have darker skin, they have sharp teeth, they have long dark nails. Like they're monstrous. Like they can cut a bitch, basically. And she just your regular like white person, like, not to be rude by anyway, but that's how they describe it in the book. It ain't me. She's just a regular white person, but not regular because she has red hair. But that's neither here nor there though. Let's ignore that. Let's ignore that part of the book. But yeah, she's just a regular human. Okay, we're not gonna think too far into this, okay, you guys? Fantasy fiction. We don't think too hard. It's fantasy fiction. Okay, it's fantasy fiction. Anyway, so they meet in this garden, and they're talking, they're having a laugh. At first she's like, oh my god, is he gonna fucking slit my throat right now? Like, what's really good? But then she realizes she's just curious, and he notices by her reaction, he was like, oh hello. He's trying to be like calm to her because he's used to her people being scared as fuck, you know, and ready to fight, because they're unfamiliar with him and his people and their culture. So like, if we're human, they just want to start a war, you know what I mean, or fight, or like, instead of trying to learn each other. But she like is scared, but then she's like, wait, he looks interesting. What is that about? She gets curious. So they start talking, and then basically at the end of it, she's like, oh, you know, I just hope that, like in her head, she's like, man, I just hope the guy that I have to be forced to marry is anything like you. But he gave her hope because she was kind. He made her laugh. You know, it was good vibes, you know. And he was the smart one and asked her name, because he had like a cloak on or whatever, and she was dressed nice, but like not in a wedding gown yet. You know what I mean? So they didn't know who each other was, but he was smart. Shocking, because he's a man. I'm just kidding. But like, he was smart and asked her name, and she gave it to him. He was like, wait, could it be the girl I'm about to marry? So he couldn't wait, figured it out. Granted, y'all, this is not giving anything away. I just want to express how beautiful it was that despite how different they were, and the fact that they didn't find each other attractive, they talked to each other, and he fell in love with each other's personality, and was intrigued by each other's personality and how they made them feel internally, not like some superficial vain stuff, you know. And he was like, nah, I gotta meet her, I gotta figure it out, because she gotta be the only Il Tico, you feel me? And she was. And he found her, and he was like, thank fucking God. And she was relieved too. And so they had their own inside joke from their previous conversation, and I found it beautiful that when they were at the altar, they helped relax everybody else, because his people and her people look drastically different, act drastically different, all of that. But in that moment, them being comfortable with each other and laughing at the altar together, and thinking, oh, this won't be so bad. Yeah, I'm forced into the marriage, but I'm doing this for my country, my family, and it's, you know, it's cool. So I love that about it. They were friends first, and the whole book is them basically growing as best friends, and then finding that deep, passionate love. And it's just so beautiful. It made my heart warm, which is why I fucking read it. Now, like every fantasy, there's gonna be a journey. There's gonna be some type of war, battle that you know, they have to overcome or fight in, blah, blah, blah. And that kind of annoyed me in this book, but I still give it a 5-star because there's plot in here, like in romance. Like, I feel like if you're 18 and above, you should read this. If you're not 18 and above, don't read this. I didn't recommend this to you, okay? I didn't. But yeah, they just grow to love each other. And the first book is you falling in love with them as best friends. And I love that too, because like even in reality, even though I like reality stuff or all that, I just wish personally that like this could happen to me, that I like just meet my best friend and we're just best friends and I don't see them as attractive or anything. So I have that time to truly be myself and vice versa. And then we learn that, oh my God, I really love this person as who they are. Like, I love them. Imagine. So that's the first book. It's just you realizing their the romance that they have for each other, and then the evil pops up later. So there's a lot of political things going on as well, where she has to learn his culture and food, and he also has to do the same. And then at the end, something crazy happens that I'm not gonna share. And then we hop into the second book. Okay. So the second one is called Eidolon. Peep the cover. She's cute. She's the moment. And it's just okay. So this second book doesn't follow, oh, we're friends, but we're getting to know each other. And oh my God, I think I might love you. It's more so, okay, I love you. This marriage is real. Fuck what you heard. And we are a real couple and they work so well together and you get to just live in that moment. But again, something tragic happened in the last 100 pages of the first book. So it's like a healing moment there. So you still get that building a relationship as friends in this one, but they together now. It's real now. They're in love now in this book, the second book. And they're also fighting off his evil mom. Wouldn't want her as my mother-in-law. I'm just saying that because she real crazy. She on another level. Again, Brishan's people are like a subset of human where they have like magical powers and they're like more animalistic, and that's all I'm gonna say because I really don't want to give it away. I feel like that part is really the most interesting part for you to like learn yourself and have each page like unravel who his people are. Her people are kind of like straightforward. They're like humans, like Pilgrim. Think Pilgrim for Ildico's people, but for Brishan, think warriors. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so they're basically fighting off his mother and her crazy people. They're battling her basically because she cray and she tried to kill. Ooh, let me be quiet. Anyway, I'm giving too much away. I don't know how to do this, child. But anyway, the second one is them just wrapping up everything, fighting in this war with their neighbor friends, and them building on their love, and it's cute or whatever. So I told myself I'm gonna read this book like every fall, and this is I had it on as an ebook and I bought the physical copies and then reread them. And so now next year I'm probably gonna tab it and mark my favorite like friendship moments, my favorite couple moments, that kind of thing. Because girl, if you want to be like, you want your heart to patter, I would get these. Ooh, these would be great to read in February for Valentine's Day. Oh, okay. Anyways, now let's jump into the next and last book that I read in September. Okay. Final book that I read in September was another book by Grace Draven, and I'm stuck on how to rate it. Okay, so I was going between 3-star and 3.5. I still to this day don't know what to give it, but I guess this isn't my favorite like kind of fairy tale retelling, and I think that might be the issue. But in here, the book is Entreat Me, peep the cover, by Grace Draven. I think she low-key kind of wanted the male lead to just be black. Now that I'm looking at these, whatever, fantasy fiction, it's okay. Where is it? Anyway, I'm getting lost in thought. All right, so basically this is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and it follows, okay, I'm gonna explain this to you in this way so you understand why I didn't know if I should give it a 3-star or a 3.5 to be nice. It follows a main character who, child, let me get their names together because I really don't believe, like, Luvain. Okay, so Luvain is the older sister. We're just gonna use Luvain's name, child. So Luvain is the older sister. She's also a widow, and her father and her little sister are living with her in her house that she and her husband lived in. Her husband and her, what is English? They owned this, what is it called? Oh my gosh. It's not a morgue, not a child. Basically, they owned a business together. You see what I mean? I can barely even remember what is going on here, which maybe is why I should probably just cut my losses and go ahead and rate it a 3-star. But basically, the older sister is taking care of the dad. Basically, she takes care of the finances and everything, because her stepmom, who is the mom of her younger sister, taught her how to handle finances and everything so she could run the business. Because she was sick, she passed that on to the older daughter, and she was doing that for her business with her husband, and started to do it after the stepmom passed away for her father. And her father got into this horrible business deal that he was honestly tricked into, because the evil guy wanted to marry the little sister, and the little sister was not checking for him. Now, they were describing him as kind of old and unattractive, and he was giving very much so, I'm a douchebag, and you know, the typical. And so she was like, I ain't marrying him. And then the older sister was like, okay, cool, I guess you don't have to, like, rights or whatever. And the dad, I really like, this is the main part I liked, is the dad was like not really protective of them, but when it came to their rights, he was for it. So I'm here for that. And basically, so he was in this debt by him, and the guy was like, yo, if you don't let me marry the younger daughter, the pretty one, the unmarried one, then I'm gonna put your daddy in jail because he owed me money because this business went wrong and I invested my money. And the dad used to own like good business and stuff, like they used to be thriving. So that's why she was just like, yo, like he's been setting you up, dad, like this whole time, and you keep falling for it. Like, just stop. And so she's like, but whatever, I'm gonna figure it out, because you know, she just has nothing else to fucking do, I guess. So she want to handle her daddy issues, literally her dad's issues. And you know, she trying to figure it out, and the little sister was like, yo, listen, there's this fine dude that everybody in the town know, but not really, because they can't find his origin, where he come from. They don't know what his last name is, they don't know his cousins, so they like, is he even real? What's real? But she's like, I can go to Bay and he can save us. And she's like, yo, like he hasn't even come for your hand, he hasn't even tried to meet your family, he really not checking for you, he not calling you his girl. What you mean he just gonna give us money? What do you really mean? Like, you cute, you're pretty, you're one of the most, you're the, you know, bachelorette of the town, but you not popping, honey, because he not trying to marry you. So that was the whole thing, like marriage, like you have to have marriage or it's not around. And so the little sister get mad, runs off. Now I feel like I'm retelling the book, and you know what, I am. So if you were into this and you were like, listen, I want to read this book, shut up, then stop here, because I really think I'm using this as a therapy session, because I want to understand what the fuck was this book. And I like Grace Raven. It was just, anyway. So the sister runs off. Turns out the little boy is like the son of the Beast. So if you read Beauty and the Beast, you know what I'm talking about. I didn't know he had a son, but whatever. You do what you want in your own book. You create your own new version. I'm here for it. I was like, okay, fine. He got to find that son. Okay. I'm not going to tell you the inner workings of this and how he has a son, but basically the dad was cursed by his ex-wife. And later when you find out why he was cursed, girl, I was ready to throw this book at the door. Okay? Out the door. I was like, are you kidding me? You kidding me? Who's crazy here? Because I think it's the witch. Because I remember the witch from Who Cursed the Beast in the original story, or somebody's other story of it. I was with her. I accepted her wrongdoings. I was here for it. 100%. And in this one, I was like, really though? Like, you ruining lives, and for what? And I think that didn't stick, that didn't hit me right. And then the older sister, she goes to like find the little sister and ends up at the house too. And then the beast, who is the dad, he doesn't want to show himself because of his scars on himself. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And he actually goes crazy and turns into a beast. He has to be chained up in a dungeon. Like, it was giving, what the fuck is going on in this household? And why the fuck are y'all still there? Because I would have grabbed my little sister and be like, look, where the money at? Because it ain't in the bag. And we need it real bad. But we not getting it. So why are we still here? And this dude down there, he could literally kill us. And his son convulsing too? Like, I think it was just too much going on, y'all. I felt like in this book, it needed to be one more. It just needed to be one couple. It needed to be one couple we focused on. And that was the motherfucking beauty and the motherfucking beast. Not his son and the daughter. And that was, okay. Maybe I rated 2.5 star, because I think what also annoyed me about the, okay, now I'm just, and I like Grace Draven. I like this author, clearly. I loved her other books. But y'all, what gets me is, tell me why the couple, the son and the younger sister, were so fucking annoying. She was all like, oh, and the older sister was a cock block the whole time. Now, you've been a whole ass wife. You've had sex. You're having sex with the beast. And your little sister can't live her life. She always popping up like, don't touch her. Don't defile her. Hey, what are you doing over there? And I'm just like, girl, how can your own sister be your own cock block when she clearly see you in love with him? How? Like, they couldn't even sit together by themselves. And I think that annoyed me, because it was little shit. It wasn't like, oh, she won't let her have sex. No, it wasn't that. Whatever. It would be little shit. Oh, he can't sit beside her. Oh, why are they by themselves over there? She needs a chaperone. She old enough to get married, bitch. I don't know. What did I tell y'all this annoying? Because I wanted to love this book so much, because I've only heard great things about it. But literally, the older sister was annoying me. Her relationship with the beast, I felt like, just focus on him. Focus on y'all. And she did. And she became such the biggest hypocrite. And then I forgot how she wrote it to where she tried to make it okay that she was a fucking hypocrite. And I was like, listen, her husband that she didn't even love passed away. Understood. But they had an understanding, and I'm okay with that. But he dead and gone, so she out here doing what she want to do, but her little sister can't do what she want to do, and she's the reason that they actually get the money though. They get the bag to take care of their father's debts. But then that other guy still starting stuff. It was just stupid. Like, it was stupid. Okay, I am so sorry to this book, but yeah, I read this book. I read it all to the end. So was it stupid? And I think because normally if I don't like a book, I'm gonna end it. Cut it off. Cut your losses. I'm gonna end the book. I'm gonna DNF it, and that's it. Who gonna check me? But with this one, I read it, and that's where I get confused. I guess I thought it was gonna get better. So anyway, after venting here, I rate this book a 2.5. Sorry, 2.5. It was just too much. I hate hypocrites, especially when it's your older sister who's supposed to have your back. Because my sister would never do that to me. That's why I was just like, what's good? What's good? I don't know. But it could have been better. And it didn't give what it needed to give. And it shouldn't have had two couples that we're trying to focus on. And the beast should have been a beast without a son. I don't know. Anyways. Those are the books that I read this September, and I really enjoyed them. I found them good, and you know what, I can't hold Grace, okay? Because Entreat Me really did make me think about it, right? So yeah, I don't know. It was a good reading month. I read more books than I thought I would, especially since I feel like I work all the time. No shade, just facts. Anyway, let me end this. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I hope that you test out some of these books, try them out if you haven't already, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.